Our last talk tonight comes from Codorus, who, unlike Toys R Us, knows which way around the R goes. One person got the joke. I'm still going to be strict on the time, though, because I have a train I need to catch, and even though I'm going to be running very fast in this weather, I need to leave on time. So you have 19 minutes to tell us how awesome Codorus are. Your time starts now.
Thank you very much. Right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Peter Lee, Business Development Director at Codorus. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Codorus first before I get into some ideas that I thought I'd share with you that are nothing to do with Codorus, more around design and development. So Codorus, a software development business, 25 staff based at Aspirational Park, BT's old research labs, that now has 100 businesses working there that aren't BT. About 30% supply into BT, we do at times. But there's a really good ecosystem, a good tech ecosystem, similar to Norwich in a way, but we've grown up in different ways. But Innovation Martlesham support that tech ecosystem. We're experts in mobile and embedded software. You can come over and see us later, but we use a lot of this different software, Android, Apple, and embedded stuff in chips. I'm not a techie by background. I'm an industrial designer, so forgive me, but I work closely with techs and in between the clients. So we featured in Tech Nation report. We liken ourselves to the AMG of Mercedes. We're about high performance in mobile apps especially, so making sure that you use really light code and use it really efficiently so you don't drain power on people's devices and give them a poor experience. They're some of our clients that we work with, embedding, and we have controlling mobile apps that control embedded mobile or devices like speakers and headphones, for example. Right, final bit about Codorus is we support the tech sector in our area, so we support Sync Ipswich, a creative computing club. We run live stream events at Aspirational Park to bring people together. We showcase, we try to give back to the community, encourage young people into the tech sector who will be, hopefully, our future employees. So, when thinking about tonight's talk, thinking about the different mix of audiences, and I have to speak up over this rain in Norfolk. We see very little rain in Suffolk, but neither do you guys in Norfolk very often. I thought I'd sort of pick up on sort of a development cycle, and interesting that some of this development cycle has been used by previous speakers of discovering the real need for a product or service, or what the needs are of your customers, defining possible solution options, and then getting into the design, which is often where we come in, where the client's already worked all that out, or so they think, and then getting into developing and delivering those services. But at the heart of all of this are our customers, and really for any really good business, it's about solving a problem, a challenge. And where does that work? And where does innovation really come into this? So picking out from the customers and going outwards, just picking up some various different themes here. It might be that it's your brand personality you want to differentiate in your market somehow, or it may be the way you want to communicate your brand, and tech can be used to help deliver that, and we'll come on to some options later. It's also about your customer groups. Everything's going really personal. You're going to see some historical stuff from my days in BT of where we started to really look at needs-based customer segmentation. But there are lots of tools like Mosaic. Experian Mosaic has 68 different classifications of users and what the needs might be. But the important thing here is about getting real insights into your customers as described by earlier speakers. And it's interesting that I thought what might have been covered here, so thank you for covering, and I don't have to go into too much depth. But it's picking up on those critical touch points. How do you turn a critical touch point and make something easier? Whether it's a transaction with your business, are they going through difficult processes? How can you really streamline that and make it simple? Make sure you take a look at the total customer experience. It's not just when they come into you as a client or a business. Think about their lifestyles. Think about where you come into their day and how you can improve their day and put a smile on their face. It's then about sort of getting into scenarios, going through scenario processes and thinking, and maybe picking up on brand attributes in those scenarios of how can you add some personality of your brand through technology to improve your customer service or your reach. And another key area, I think, for innovation is this sort of fusion between the human desirability for something, whether it's a piece of tech, also the technical feasibility, can it actually be delivered, and the business viability, is there a real market? Can we actually make the figures work? That's where real innovation can happen. And it might be some small micro steps, just improve that customer experience. It doesn't have to be what I'm going to show you some of, which is multi-million-pound developments. But there's still a process behind it that you can learn from and apply to any walk of business. I would challenge anyone to think otherwise. So I'm going to give you a bit of a recent history of the future. And this is going back to my times as an industrial designer in BT and being very fortunate to work and leading product design with design agencies, predominantly from London, but also now based out in America, working with Apple and others. We were able to use their expertise and their thinking. I thought I'd share that with you tonight because there's something about this thinking that you could apply to your business. So, lifestyle mobile phones. Now, in the mid-90s, mobile phones were bits of black plastic. The technology we could see was becoming a commodity. How would you differentiate one black product from Panasonic or Nokia or Sony or other tech providers from another? A lot of the Far East manufacturers were chucking in more and more features. You need 100 memories, you need 1,000 memory spaces. And we thought, actually, hang on, mobiles, it's all about becoming really personal. And who's going to be driving the new products of the future? We'll start with looking at aspirational, high-value products. And if you consider brands like BMW 3 Series sells on the back of the 5 Series and the 7 Series. So how could a brand like BT, that was a bit of a sort of middle-of-the-road Ford, if you like, on motor analogy, how could it develop new products and services that would have some aspirational pull that would bring the whole product portfolio up? So we started to think about, okay, so personal, mobile. Now this was done in the 90s, 3 years before Nokia did the slide-shut phone. We were exploring finishes and options. That little Minox camera was my grandfather's, a spy camera. We were looking at materials and finishes from personal items like glasses, tortoiseshell, pens, watches, cameras. And we were looking at the simple, sophisticated end and thinking, actually, some people just want to close it up and have something that is a statement, but they don't often even need to open it up and dial numbers. They get called, or they only have a few memories that they call, and that's all. So it was an exploration. It's almost like a concept car that we were coming up with for our sort of thinking about design, values, and how we would pass this on into our main product sets. We even then looked at other personal profiles. So this was about this customer segmentation. We were looking at sports lifestyle type products, taking our cues from mountaineers, from divers, from brands like Tag Heuer for watches. Why is it people would spend thousands of pounds on a watch? How could we get that into products when we're now spending £1,000 on a lot of smart devices? But at the time, products were much, much cheaper. And this range of sort of sports active mobiles, when we started to think of the product qualities, the robustness, the waterproofness, where they could be used, we started to think, okay, well, mobile networks in the future, to have the ability to track position with GPS, also to know altitude, that could be really useful for people who are out and about and for dialing up emergency services. So that gave us lots of inspiration to think about how would the operation of the network work, what sort of features would we need, as well as the end consumer products and handsets. We then also thought, okay, well, how are we really going to take this to the mass market? How are we going to do like a Swatch type phone? An idea of taking the attributes of the high-end products, and we did a whole range of thinking around teenagers, around families, around couples, around small businesses. We looked at the needs and attributes of these people in their day-to-day life scenarios. We had a bit of fun. The bottom right is a sort of Fisher-Price type phone. Initially, it was aimed, it had no buttons on it at all. It's just for parents to be in touch with their kids. But actually, when we did market testing with this, hall testing with people, we found that sort of some adults really liked the fact that this was really silly. And how could you make a phone a silly phone? But then we had products like the one next to it, which are all about recycling, reuse of materials, hand colouring, tortoiseshell covers, snap-on covers. Now the designer behind this, Bill Sermon, who was working at Fitch, he went to Nokia, and 2 years later, out come the snap-on phone covers. BT did miss out here. I mean, it was an opportunity they could have taken forward, but it was a sort of design conceptual thinking, which I would suggest that you do early on in your thinking of these options and scenarios. And the top left is just showing sort of how we looked at the overall, the packaging, the reuse of packaging, the user guides, the user interface, the marketing. You've really got to sort of think about these in a more holistic view to get the overall concept really, really humming for end consumers. We were also at the same time looking at personal PDA, the assistants that were around on the market. How could we improve these and add communications into them? How could we add maybe MP3 players? Even TV, before the networks would carry TV, so we put into this device a PCM slot, which would be a TV that you could slot in and watch TV to educate the market that you could start to be watching mobile or TV over mobile networks, which of course you now can. At the time we were exploring a whole load of tech in the home of controlling your TV, as well as these mobile devices, so hence the fast text buttons. We were exploring an idea of physical buttons as well as on screen. Interestingly, some of this simulation and block model work we used in CellNet to inspire, and there's a video that was done sort of 10 years in the future looking back to the late 90s, and we called it the Mobile Millennium. You can view this online as little scenarios. But some of the designers on this, interestingly, went over to work with Apple. And it took them 10 more years before the iPhone came out. So I feel in a way we had a bit of DNA, which has just developed down the road from here, not far, even into the Apple iPhone. Why am I mentioning this? Well, some of this I then took forward into working in local authorities. So in Suffolk County Council, I was fortunate to work on a load of different digital transformation projects. This one was a European-funded project working with Hertfordshire County Council as well, where we started to look at bringing journey planners to mobile devices and payment systems to the mobile. Well, this is now commonplace everywhere. You'll even see on Anglia Train, and in this case it was about buying your ticket on your phone and even having barcodes and barcode scanners on the buses, which were also NFC compatible to allow for those phones to come along. But we were thinking of the overall scenario of the user planning their journey, getting to the bus stop, finding the times, getting on board, paying, how you would market to these people and get them aware of this new service and how you could nudge them as well to start to use technology in a new way. So, tech advantages and opportunities. There are lots of opportunities to do R&D around your own business. The universities can help. The tech community here can clearly help. We've got experts, and I'd urge you to use them if you're not already working with them. There are loads of grants available. UK Research and Innovation is the government's arm that's really combined what was Innovate UK with the arm that delivers funding out to universities. There are billions of pounds a year being invested and shared with businesses around innovation. And if you're not already tapped into these, you must get on it. Keep Plus is a local scheme actually run by one of the universities. I can't remember it off the top of my head now, but Keep Plus allows tech businesses and any SME in the UK to access £25,000 worth of funding, and it's a 50% match, so a project up to £50,000. If it's R&D and it's not business as usual, you can get 50% of that funded. Now, if you're a tech business offering a service to a client who wants to do some R&D, you can offer them half price. You can help fill in the form. It's a 2-page form. You only need one quote from a tech provider. So all tech providers in this room, you must sign up and start to use this for your clients. It's a no-brainer. It's European money that we'd be drawing back for local businesses. Off-the-shelf tech. There is a load of off-the-shelf tech. What I've loved to see is having developed some of this tech from video codecs that cost £120,000 a pop and are now built into your phones for free. There's more and more of this tech coming to the market and reducing in cost every day. Voice access is very key to every business as a form of interface for older people who can't understand to use digital interfaces or find it more difficult. The AI behind all the voice services is quite key as well. So anything that needs some automation, we've had some really good examples tonight. That's where it can be used. Machine learning, AI, augmentation. Now, whether this is augmenting your staff to be smarter and more expert, like at the customer service level, or whether it's about VR, virtual reality and augmented reality for customers, there's a lot of technology out there that is dropping in price really fast and could start to provide a return on investment to your business. IoE, Internet of Everything. I mean, this is really about sort of smart devices. I specialize in smart cities, but actually I start with smart homes and technologies to support people on living independently for longer in their homes. It's not just a home issue, it could be a community issue, a citywide issue. And a lot of that technology now is breaking through the price points where it can become accessible for businesses to use, whether it's in their own processes, or for their customers, and even at the city level to help deliver services to citizens and businesses in the area. So a final few sort of tips and ideas. Always be challenge and problem-led. Don't just think up an idea and think, right, I've got to plow on with it. Is it really solving a problem? Be user-centered. Put the user at the heart of that problem. Really get some really good insights into that, because that will unlock so much innovation and the right way of delivering to your users. Keep it simple. It's really easy to say, but you see how Apple makes products simple. They invest billions to make stuff simple. You can make it quite simple by just keeping it light and simple, getting it right. Be agile, fail fast, learn from your mistakes, get stuff out there, see what actually sticks and works. Get your minimum viable products out. And definitely invest in experts. You can develop a lot of this stuff yourself, but actually use some of the tech community, because we know some of what we're doing, not all the time, but sometimes it's a journey. And come along with people who know and have been here before, who can help you get there faster, because it is about adopting some of the best practices that are out there. These people can help you accelerate and get to your market much quicker and reduce the risk of getting to that market. I've put up some names, some books there. Robert Jones, I believe, is in the region, and he's helped even with the East proposition, about promoting the East. He worked at Wolf Olins, and this is all about getting the brand right, getting the message right, getting the market right. Change by Design, Tim Brown at IDEO. That is well worth reading, because it's about designing your business. And Nudge is all about sort of nudging consumers as well as sort of social behaviors. So that's me. Thank you very much. 20 seconds left or so. Thank you.